This is transmission 27. I'm going to go into the usual very brief opening meditation, and then we'll start with the channeling. After that, we'll follow the Q&A. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you on the other side. Let's take a few moments to drop into a meditative state, a more receptive state. Allowing ourselves to fully arrive in the here and now present moment. Taking a few deep breaths and feeling that life force that animates our body, animates our mind and emotions. Feeling that unique thread of consciousness that is who we are, who we perceive ourselves to be. And allowing ourselves to feel that by the nature of our existence, because we exist, because we have been created to be, we have value in the grand symphony of all that is. Because all that is does not create mistakes. We are here, we are now, experiencing our lives because we are valuable within the matrix of all that is. So let us take a few moments to feel that value, the life force that animates us. Good day to you. We welcome you to these realms of light, where the vast majorities of who you are also exist. We welcome you to these realms of light from where your physical lives, your physical personalities, and your entire physical worlds also spring. We were very much enjoying your conversation just leading up to this transmission, speaking a bit about beliefs. And the analogy was given that the belief matrix acts very much like in your current world, your civilization. You have this fun puzzle you create for yourselves, you call the escape rooms. For this is very much the way beliefs work, and particularly the limiting beliefs, the negative beliefs. They work as a kind of unique puzzle to be solved, especially from the higher dimensional levels. We see it very much as a kind of a game, a kind of a play, whereby you, from your vantage point, ensconce yourself within this particular matrix, containing a very unique hall of mirrors, self-reinforcing mechanisms that make it appear as if this belief is all that there is, so that you fully buy into it. So you create the reality within which you create the capacity for this belief matrix to hoodwink you, as it were, into fully buying into it as a reality, as an experience. And thusly you get to experience all that is from an incredible multitude of perspectives. Now, these beliefs must come with self-reinforcing mechanisms so that you do truly believe that they are real, that these are definite realities. Otherwise, you would simply see right through it, and you would simply brush it off and not have that unique experience of being so focused and so ensconced in these particular vibrations. Now, in this age of awakening, it is becoming more apparent. You are seeing through the illusion a little bit more. You have given yourselves permission to experience not so much the finite nature of the negative beliefs, but also the capacity, increasing and growing capacity to solve the puzzles, as it were. And solving them you are, for you are not the same civilization that you were even a moment ago. You are hopscotching across the lily pads of life, from lily pad to lily pad, very much shifting from belief matrix to belief matrix. For you have built into your time system now, your space-time reality, much more fluidity, much more flexibility. Thus, you are much more readily seeing through these halls of mirrors, these escape rooms. You are solving many puzzles in one lifetime now, whereas in previous versions of Earth that were as constant third density, you might, for an entire life, experience one puzzle, never to fully come out of it until you, as you say, pass away, until you shift out of the body or out of the dimension, shall we say. You expand beyond the body to become more of your spirit nature. Thusly, many lives were lived simply caught in one room, believing that that is all that there is to experience. Now, this is not to invalidate such experiences of limitation, for they are incredibly valuable, as the opening meditation to this transmission demonstrates. The very nature of existence, even ensconced within such puzzles and escape rooms, negative belief matrices, is inherently valuable within the experience of all that is. But now in this age, you have given yourself permission to not only escape once, but escape many times from many puzzles, so that you can have the thrill and the exhilaration of the joy of breaking out, the joy of realizing that that is but one room in existence and there are many other rooms. So likewise, you may have the experience of breaking out of one room to realize you are in a larger room, which at first feels expansive, but after some time begins to feel yet again constraining. And so you begin to work on that particular puzzle. And as you solve that escape room, you find the exhilarating moment of breakthrough, you find this moment of expansion, and you feel exhilarated and wonderful and great until you come upon the walls of the next limiting definitions of self, for you find yourself ensconced in yet a bigger room that contained the previous rooms. And you begin to press upon those walls, feel those limitations, and you begin to solve that particular puzzle. And on it goes. For these are the themes you are experiencing now, the breaking out of not only one escape room, one puzzle, one matrix, but a series of matrices, one ensconced within the other. Now each time you break out of one particular puzzle, you feel that moment of expansion. You feel the exhilaration, and you continue to expand until poof, you bump up against the next limitation, the next walls of the next room, which is just a little bit bigger. And you'll find yourself pressing onto that, and now the exhilaration gives way to tightness and restraint, and you start to feel enclosed again. Now, this does not mean you have fallen back to the previous state, for you are still expanded by comparison in a time-space reality format, going from an arc, through an arc of transformation from darkness to light. Yet you still feel constrained. And you work through that particular puzzle, you expand, and then you break through again. So it feels as if you are oscillating, going from darkness to light, but then descending back into darkness, and then popping back out into the light and descending into darkness. However, each time you are not the same, in the same level of restraints. You are a new person experiencing a new puzzle. And you are vastly different than the person you were even a moment ago. You're constantly expanding. You're expanding to such a degree that you don't even notice it, because the rate of expansion has a fairly regular rhythm. And the constraint comes with it, with the sensation of going through that process again, of breaking that restraint. But you are breaking a restraint at a much higher level than you previously had before in a time-space format. And so you have set it up so that through this arc of transformation, you go through a series of these matrices, you have a series of breakthroughs. And that series that you organize in your time-space format presents for you a kind of journey through life that cannot be had in any other way but to format it in a linear way. So this is a highly unique experience that you have designed for yourselves from other levels of consciousness, so that from this level, which is fully immersed in time-space, you can experience your growth frame by frame by frame. So these are very powerful times indeed, and we would encourage you that when you find yourselves pressing up against those restraints, that you take a moment to breathe and relax into the process and trust that process. It is not that you have gone back to where you were before. You are working, even though it might appear and feel very similar. You are in a completely new dimensional experience. The metaphor here would be a bit like a spiral. You're spiraling up, and even though it seems like you circle back around to very similar lessons, you are learning those lessons at a much higher level. Now, you can let negative beliefs trick you into believing that you have come back to the same place and that you are the same person and that you're just dealing with the same thing again and again. But the nature of the spiral is you're always ascending, and you simply cycle back through the same lessons from a higher vantage point and then a higher vantage point and then a higher vantage point. And this spiral, this upward trajectory, represents the theme of exploration. Now you know what your theme is precisely because it is composed of those very challenges that you deal with day to day, month to month, year to year, decade to decade. So that is your theme. And the theme, explore it you will, because that is what you signed up for, from your free will that exists at a higher level. How you go through the spiral, that is purely up to you. That is the free will of your personality. So you can roll your sleeves up and enjoy the process, or you can lament your way through the spiral. You can resist the resistance, or you can simply joyfully tackle the challenges, because the challenges will be there. And how you move through them, how you navigate through those challenges, that is your free will at this level. Now we are most excited for this merry band that has gathered here today. Not only those that are digitally present in this time-space coordinate, but even those that are listening into this transmission. For you are forming new circles and new communities. These are very, very exciting times as you move into your 2023, as you define time to be. You are very much crossing a threshold, and new bubble realities are forming all around you. And you will find yourself gravitating to beings of like mind and reconnecting the tribes and the soul families that have made agreements. For that is part of your theme as well. Now is the time of relinking and reconnecting and remembering and creating these bubble realities, these communities within which the new reality will emerge by the power of beings gathered and creating and co-creating these bubbles that will, in a manner of speaking, puncture the collective field, and like tunnels will help you to tunnel into the new versions of Earth that you're truly preferring to experience. So you are poking holes in the reality and the collective consciousness, not only singularly, but very importantly now, this time is to gather in groups, small groups and larger groups, create those bubble realities, for you'll find within those bubbles, different rules will seem to apply. Some of you experience this as you, for example, gather up for a variety of retreats or transmissions. You will notice that in those bubbles, different rates of synchronicity seem to apply. Different manifestations seem to take place. You suddenly find yourself perceiving in ways that are very, very different than the usual, as you say, time-space reality format. at which your collective consciousness operates. Thusly, these bubble realities will serve to anchor in the new frequencies into Earth, or to put it more precisely, will enable you to shift to those versions of Earth that are in keeping with your true vibration. So we are very much appreciative of this little bubble here and the larger bubble that is created through all those that listen into this transmission at another time, so to speak. And we encourage very much those bubbles, for you will find much magic funneled into your reality through them. So appreciate that, and appreciate the remembrance that is occurring now, this tugging in your heart to connect, to create those bubble realities. For you are very magical beings, and you are helping one another through these bubble realities, creating reflective mirrors that reinforce the magic that is inherent within each and every one of you. And you co-create and give each other permission to unlock from the collective consciousness and relock into your specific bubble matrix, whereby new abilities are explored and brought to bear, reinforcing it within one another. And thusly, when you move out of that bubble reality, you're always, in a manner of speaking, in it, and you carry that frequency with you, and you spread that frequency to all those who, as you say in your world, for those that have eyes, let them see, those that have ears, let them hear. You enable others who experience and bump up into you to have the potential to see another way of living, to see another potential, other probabilities that they can choose or not choose. It is up to them. But you are spreading these vibrations all into your civilization, whereby for you it'll appear as if you are aiding in the shifting of the civilization, and precisely you are tunneling your way into that version of Earth, and through those versions of Earth to realities that are truly more reflective of your true nature. So that is our message for today. It is a message of encouragement to create these bubbles, and a reminder that this is very much the very, very beginning. 2023 is a threshold that you are crossing. Thusly, these bubbles will bring to bear much more magic than you can even begin to imagine. So buckle up and enjoy the ride, for you have broken out of enough of these escape rooms, these puzzles, these matrices of negative beliefs, to now to truly experience the beginnings of a very, very magical time upon your world, and especially within these bubble realities. So with that, we will, with our words of encouragement, open it up for dialogue and questions at this time. Please remember to unmute your technology so that we can hear your question, and please remute yourself after you complete your question.
Hello, that's Patrick.
Hello and good day.
Good day to you. I have a question about dream.
Very good.
I'm curious about to know what happened when you dream and you wake up and you have to deal with a huge snake that's coming right in front of your face and kind of sniff your face to see how you're going to react to that. And you're able to stay calm. But what's the meaning of it?
For clarification, you're experiencing the snake in your physical reality or your dream reality?
Dream reality.
Very good. Then we will begin to answer by asking you the question. What does the snake symbol represent to you? And we will play with that.
It was interesting because it was a woman who held the snake before she extended, the snake extended himself to me. It was a beautiful color, And for me, it was a sign of transformation and balance.
Yes.
I didn't feel any attack or fear. Of course, it's kind of oh, it's pretty big, it's coming to me. But I found lots of change after that. Like I found snakes are very knowledgeable. They have lots of knowledge to share if you don't fear that. I was just curious to another perspective of it.
Yes, because we are aware that you are very much connected to the natural world and to a variety of these symbols that present themselves. One thing perhaps that we can expand upon is that as you're crossing this threshold in 2023, you are experiencing the revelation of your strength, your power, your abilities, and as the dream represents, you are somewhat taken aback a little bit, not taken aback, but surprised, shall we say, by the largeness of your being, the largeness of that which you came here to offer. Yet you are moving into it. You are not afraid, as you said in the dream. You are accepting it. Yet there is this quality of like, oh wow, I'm a big being here and I have a lot to offer. And you are a big being and you do have a lot to offer. So allow yourself to acclimate to that, and these kinds of dreams help you to do that, to come face to face with your own reflection and to acclimate to the great power that you have here to share. So does that help, or is there something else to expand?
No, that's enough. Thank you. The last thing I remember, he hit my third eye and I passed out.
There you go.
I
Now,
will,
yes,
I would like to know a little bit the next step, but I guess I will know soon. But it's
yes,
kind of very uplifting to have a real experience like that.
yes. Now you will discover that in time, rather than passing out, as it were, or going unconscious, you will retain more and more memory of these experiences. You have inklings of it, and you have had inklings of it in the past. For there is much more to reveal. Thusly, as your third eye begins to open, you will begin to bring back the memories of that which is experiencing at other levels of your being. And the largeness of it will not overwhelm you in any way. You will be ready for it, but it is in due time. As we say, you will know what you need to know when you need to know it. But it is coming, and it is coming sooner than later, so get ready. For you will have much more dream memory as that third eye opens, and you will continue to experience the largeness of your being and the largeness of the connections that you share through the oversoul to many realms and many civilizations. You will find yourself to be a very large being indeed. So continue to experience that largeness and trust that it will be given to you in a way, in a measured way, that it will not overwhelm you, and yet it will surprise you greatly as to the vastness and greatness of the being that you are and that each and every one of you is.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Very good.
I am very curious who is being channeled right now.
As we have mentioned in other transmissions, the idea of Illi is the higher mind of the channeler himself. Now, within this higher mind matrix, it does connect and extend into, of course, the soul and the oversoul. Thusly, it does contain, shall we say, flavorings of other aspect selves, but primarily it comes through as the higher mind. Now, in time, as the channel expands, we will be able to facilitate a more direct link to other aspect selves that are distinct beings in this and other civilizations. But for now, it is a kind of conglomerate frequency, a blend, if you will. Thusly, if you think of it as the higher mind, that will be the most appropriate. And as the name Illi suggests, it is a reflective mirror. Even the way the word is written, it is reflective in nature, I-L-L-I. And thusly, it is a reflection of your higher mind as well, using us as a higher mind mirror to mirror back your own higher minds back to you. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Very good.
I have one more question, a little bit different. Could you say something about hummingbirds and what they represent and symbolize?
Yes. Lovely creatures. They are, well, as you may or may not know, they are the totem symbol of the mystery school, the modern mystic mystery school. And they are, shall we use the pun, hovering in between dimensions, in that they are links to the nature spirit realm. And of course, all nature is a link to nature spirit realm, including you, because you are nature. However, they do have a very specific frequency that allows the acceleration of those that observe them to create a kind of portal into that knowingness of the nature spirit realm. They are, in a manner of speaking, existing as a kind of bridge and a link between particularly what you colloquially refer to as the fairy kingdom or the flying elementals. They are there to serve as that link. Thusly, those that observe them and appreciate their beauty will find an acceleration of frequency that will predispose the watcher to have more experiences of the non-physical nature. Their whole physical being is designed to reflect to the collective consciousness of humanity an accelerated state through the seemingly accelerated heartbeat, through the seemingly very visibly apparent flapping of the wings, the beating of the wings. All of this is symbolic of the raising of frequency. Thusly, simply observing them and appreciating their beauty and learning to communicate with them telepathically will enable that experiencer to very much partake in that raising of frequency. And they are known to hover also not only in your physical reality but into your dream time, and can offer much assistance in the awakening of your energy centers to realign and reawaken your true natural self to you. Does that help, or is there any other clarification?
How would you suggest we communicate with them telepathically? Is it the same as with other beings?
Bring the vibration of appreciation to your heart and simply reach out to them. Now, whether you do this while observing them physically, or perhaps after observing them physically, dropping into a meditative state, whatever your permission slip is, bring that being into your heart, the appreciation, and it is that love frequency that creates the telepathic link, where they are already hovering there, and thusly by appreciating them, you raise your frequency into that domain, and then you will begin to think the same thoughts at the same time. Now, as with all telepathy, we would encourage, especially with animals, we would encourage use of imagery to communicate rather than words, for words are very much a construct of humanity. Thusly, when you wish to send a message, send it vibrationally, not through language, but through vibrational language or through the language of light. Send it through imagery or vibration. This is precisely why we are saying appreciate. Because when you flow to them your appreciation, they will pick up on that and you will begin to fall into lockstep resonance. It is through vibration, and this is a misconception in humanity, that empathy or telepathy, as you say, happens through the mind. It happens primarily through the vibrational frequency, through the heart, and through your visual centers. So play with imagery and vibration. Bring yourself to the vibration of appreciating them, and very much for that desire to create a relationship. And from that heart center, when you establish that, then you can begin to receive and send images and impressions. And you will find them very capable of responding to that. And you will find them likewise capable of sending you messages on a vibrational level that you may then interpret as words, but that is an interpretation happening in your energy matrix. The communication will happen vibrationally, not through words. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Thank you.
Now that this is the crossing of the threshold in 2023, of a threshold, of course you are crossing through many thresholds in your experience of time and in your arc of transformation, from darkness to light, in your hero's journey, if you will. Now to you will become more available your aspect selves. And thusly we encourage, for those of you for whom that passion exists, to take the time to speak with and connect with your aspect selves, for they will start to peek into your reality much more readily, and you will be able to communicate with them much more fluidly. Lastly, if you are drawn to any particular aspect self, you can use this simple permission slip of visualizing that particular aspect in your mind's eye, if you will, and appreciating them, and simply allowing yourself to become available for a deepening of that connection, of that relationship. And you may be very pleasantly surprised that the, as you call, so-called veil between worlds, having thusly thinned after the crossing of this threshold, that much more will be available. And these aspect selves will be shifting from the experience of what you colloquially say past lives, much more to the experience of what you, from your time-space coordinate, would refer to as future lives. For you are now being pulled forward rather than being held down in frequency. Thus it will become more apparent that future, from your vantage point, aspects will be more available to aid and assist you, to pull you up, to pull you forward. And you will have the capacity to begin to let go of those anchorings that you have to the so-called past selves. So this is a very exciting development now. Let those future versions of you and those future aspects of you to pull you forward. Very good then. Let us come to a brief pause in the transmission, for this transmission is always occurring, for as we have said, we are reflections of your higher minds. Thus these communications are ongoing. Even though we might physically experience a pause, energetically the transmissions continue. Thus may all that has been shared through language and vibrationally and energetically, in between the words and behind the words, may all of that inspire you to more fully live your truest, most natural selves, for this is the age whereby that is becoming much more easy, fluid, flexible, and amiable to more and more expression of that trueness and that naturalness that you are. So with that, we will wish you a beautiful, loving, and a fond good day. Well, all right. So thank you everyone for being here, and I will see you in the next video.